we said that we're doing 3 different forms of a line, right? We've seen slope-intercept. We're excellent at slope-intercept. We've seen standard form. We haven't done a lot with standard form. We'll do more with standard form next week. Okay, but we've seen it. Point slope form, okay, looks like this. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, write that down and then we'll talk about it. Okay, it's not going to do any good without writing it down. I know right now you're looking at it and you're like, oh, what does that mean? Okay, but it will make way more sense when we do some examples. Okay, so I know it's at the top of your paper. I'm going to write it at the top of my slide. All right, so remember that we can label our points x1, y1, right? Okay, so now we're just plugging into the formula. We're going y minus, what is y1? 1 equals m. What's my m? 2. My m stands for my slope. Times, so I've got some parentheses, and then x minus, what is x1? 4. Okay, and then our biggest thing is we always want to get this back into slope-intercept form. Okay, so our first step, so we're going to always put it into point slope form. Okay, then we are going to distribute on the right side. Okay, so on the left side, I still have y minus 1 equals 2x minus 8. And then what do I have to do? Add 1. Yeah, I have to move that number that's with my y. Okay, so I can add my 1. I'm only adding it to my 8. So y equals 2x minus 7. Alright, so go ahead and label your points. x1, y1. Okay, y. What? What comes that? Minus 4
equals 1/2.
1/2, yep, because that's my m. And then parentheses x minus 2. Good. Who's still confused about where we get those numbers from? Are you sure? All right. So now I distribute. So y minus 4 equals 1/2 x minus, what's a half or 2? 1. And then I can add my 4. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Who's got questions so far? Sam?
It should be like, we have to do like the plus 4, like the y1, you distribute, then you add minus y1.
Yep, you're just solving it like you would regularly solve an equation. Okay, you've got to distribute this side over here, then you can move what's over there. Okay, because you're trying to solve for y, getting y by itself. What else? Can you shut that a little bit more? That's the blur that gets us. What else? Alright, so let's do number 3. I've got y minus 0 equals
2/3
to negative, turns it into a plus. So do I even have to write y minus 0? No, I can just go y equals 2/3 x plus, what's 2/3 of 6? 4. 4? Right? If we would have written our 0, we would add our 0 to the other side, but what's 4 plus 0? 4. Okay, so you're still going to get that same answer. You're confused why we didn't write down that 0. Okay, so now we've got y plus 1, good, because minus a negative 1 equals negative 3/4 x plus 8. So y plus 1 equals negative 3/4 x minus, what's 3/4 of 8? 6. Okay, and then we subtract our 1. Y equals negative 3/4 x minus 7. How come this ended up being a minus 6 instead of a plus 6? Because I multiplied it by negative, yep. Okay. All right, I want you to try 5 and 6. And also, we weren't quite done with 6 yet, but number 5, is that what you got for point slope for? Everybody put that in for their point slope. So if you're distributing, make sure you distributed right, number 5. Yes, you're answering 5. Should be y equals negative x plus 1. What you got in 5?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All right, so then in 6, I've got so you guys got the point slope? Positively?
Yeah.
Distribute right? My answer is y equals 4x minus 9. You got what now? Where did we get a 1/3 from? Before you distributed? But if I go negative 1 times x, you got negative 1x, right? And then when you minus your 3, you can only minus it to your 4. Okay, you don't minus it to your x. Does that make sense? Because you're not dividing, you're just minusing. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so, okay, what happens if I have 2 points? What piece of information am I missing? Well, I have y1 and I have x1. I have, but what don't I have? I don't have slope. So can I find slope? Yeah. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my slope. What's my slope formula? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and then you can take and use your point slope formula. So y minus y1 Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
You're like the jumpiest person I know.
Funny.
Alright, so let's use this as an example. First thing I have to find is, well, I gotta find my slope. So I'm gonna label my points. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay, so now let's find our slope. What's going into my slope formula?
-1 minus 7 over 1 plus 3.
Number 1 plus 3. So on top I have
-8
over
4
which is
-2.
-2. So my M is -2. Right? Okay, and I've got X1 and Y1 already labeled, right? So now I can start plugging in. I'm going Y minus, what's my Y1? 7 equals, what's my M? -2 times X minus,
Plus 3.
yeah, minus a -3. Turns into my plus 3. And then it's just like what we were doing. What do I have to do? I have to distribute. So Y minus 7 equals -2X minus 6. Add your 7. So Y equals -2X plus 1. So you got?
Yep.
Alright, so X1, Y1, X2, Y2. First thing I have to find, slope. So go ahead and find your slope. Everybody's got to find their slope right now. Everybody get M equals 1/3? Okay, so once you have your M, okay, now use your M in your X1 and Y1, put it in the point slope. Everybody's got that as their point slope?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I distribute. What's 1/3 of 6? Plus 2. And minus my 7. I should have Y equals 1/3 X minus 5. So you guys got it? Alright, I want you to do number 9. If we rock it out, I will let us work. I found my slope. The only mistake that I saw was we forgot to change that to a plus. So we did a really good job getting -5/2 for my slope. And then Y, remember, don't forget this minus a -1 turns into a +1. -5 X minus 2. And then I saw a lot of people get to this point and go, uh-oh. Okay. -5/2, right? What are we timesing it by? -2. Okay, remember over 1. Right? I'm going to give you a clue. Anytime you're multiplying by the denominator, those cancel, and I'm left with 5. So because that's gonna happen a lot on your assignment. Okay, when you're multiplying by, anytime you're multiplying, so I've got negative 5 halves times negative 2, so I'm multiplying. The number I'm multiplying by is the same as my denominator, right? Okay, my denominator is going to cancel, and I'm just going to be left with the negative 5. Does that help a little bit? A little bit of a shortcut? Okay, and then we subtracted our 1, and we got y equals negative 5 halves x